folks? Hey, what's going on, folks? How we doing tonight? Yeah, as you see, the mascots hanging out right now. We are going to talk about the Super Bowl tonight. We're going to go over it. We got a little panelist of four, including myself. We're going to bring in one of the co-hosts who was on the stream last night. Did a little Penguin Sharks game. We're going to bring him in. Pens, what's happening?
What's going on, man? Penguins got the win, by the way, if you guys fell asleep to that game.
I didn't know this, but my buddy came into work today, Pens, and he's like, I watched the whole second period on your stream. He didn't say one word, though. So I just want to let you know we got some trolls and creepers out there, but they watched you.
Yeah.
I was like,
That's
well, why
awesome.
didn't you say anything?
That's
and
awesome.
He's like, because you weren't there. So, but anyway, we got a two returning guests. Been here pretty much since week 7 when this thing started. We're going to bring in Joe first. He was here last night, got to talk Mets. And today we're just, we're not really covering a team today. We're talking about just one game. How are you today, Joe?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Good. Can't complain. Just got home from work, trying to keep the mascot at bay so she's not loud like last night.
There you go.
And we have one more guest who will get redemption for baseball talk after missing last night. What's up, Jay?
Adam, my friend, how are you doing? It's great to be back on the show.
Yes, man. Yeah, we missed your Dodger talk last night, but we'll get that back.
Yeah, I apologize for that. Kind of a last-minute electrical happenstance happened at my house when I got home, so it involved possibly putting a fire out, but not to worry. I still have a roof over my head. I'm all good.
That's good. So let's get right to it. What were your thoughts? We'll start with whoever wants to go first. Don't all jump at once.
I guess it's my turn. I mean, I as a neutral observer, I was rooting for the Eagles in the game a little bit, but as a neutral observer, of course, I just want to see a good game. And we got it. I was entertained, as was everybody else. Both sides had a chance. Both sides did a lot of good things. It was fun to watch, in my opinion. I was, mentioned this before, and I'll say it again. I guess the one thing, and I don't know if I'm the only one thinking of this, but I noticed a little bit of overconfidence with the Eagles before the game and during the game. I like to watch a lot of media from different cities and that. And, a couple of days before the Super Bowl, watched the newscast, a sportscast from Philadelphia, and they already had this thing won. Based on what they were talking about. They were already greasing the poles downtown Philadelphia, getting ready for the big celebrations. And, losing this game was never in the conversation, which is a good thing. You want that confidence. But, it almost seemed like they had already won it, and then even during the game, with a 10-point lead at halftime, I felt like when the Eagles came out second half, in a way, I feel like they had it won already, or they felt like they had it won already, and just maybe lost a little bit of that edge. And again, I don't know if I'm the only one thinking this, but still had a chance to win the game, and could have easily done that, and just were beat by a better team, in my opinion. But that's just my view, And again, but I was entertained and enjoyed the game.
Jason.
Yeah, I agree with Joe. This was a very entertaining game. Even though this wasn't the Super Bowl that America wanted, I think most of America wanted to see a 49ers or Bengals matchup. We still got our money's worth. I thought, and I was just talking with Joe about this backstage before we started the show, that I felt like Jalen Hurts could have very easily won the MVP award for the losing team. Only one player in NFL history has won the MVP award in the Super Bowl for a losing team, and that was Chuck Howley with the Dallas Cowboys way back in the 70s. Jalen Hurts threw for more yards, rushed for more yards than Patrick Mahomes did. And yes, Pence, I know Mahomes had an injured ankle. You don't have to remind me of that. But still, it was a great game altogether. Devontae Smith made one hell of an incomplete pass catch. And I know that everyone wants to make the penalty at the end of the game all about the game. The penalty is that word called. But look, given all that happened, it was still a 3-point victory by the Kansas City Chiefs. The Philadelphia Eagles did not go down without a fight. They gave it their best. Regardless of whether you're a fan of the Eagles or not, Pence, you have to admit that. They went out there and played their best. They played I know you're shaking your head, Pence, but that's just my feeling. And again, Jalen Hurts, like I also told Joe backstage before, Jalen Hurts has me convinced. And if he's not a top 5 quarterback in the league, he's definitely in the top 10. You can officially put him in that conversation without an argument. I was enjoyed by the game all the way. I wanted to have kind of an offensive slugfest just to see how these two prolific offenses were going to match up against each other. And I think we got our money's worth. I know I felt I did.
Pence.
All right. Joe is correct with everything he was saying. Everything was dead on. Oh, Eagles are gonna go. We're gonna win 5. We're gonna win that and everything. And thank you, Todd. I appreciate that. I appreciate they said that if the Eagles are gonna win, we're gonna go in Glendale. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. They're greasing the poles, everything. Friday night, if you guys paid attention to ESPN, Mahomes is going to get MVP. This is going to happen. Saturday night, Andy Reid might retire. He's got a decision to make. But I was happy with the performance. I told my wife that I'm going to watch part of the game. The Chiefs scored. The Chiefs scored. The Eagles scored. The Chiefs scored. The Eagles scored. I'm like, okay, I can't take this down. I can't watch. Stop watching. So I ended up watching the whole game. The only thing I missed was Rihanna's halftime show, and I heard that was pathetic. But the game itself, I heard that. But that I was watching that game, and I was yelling like the Steelers were on TV. So that's
obviously, I work, so I was working. I got home. It was about the middle of the third quarter, and I didn't want to do anything except for watch this game because the Chiefs were making a massive comeback. And yeah, I feel like the biggest play was McKinnon going down at the 1 on his own. Because that just like he was supposed to. But the Eagles were saying, take it, please enter so we have a shot at the ball. I think if someone would have tried to tackle him, he might have taken it into the end zone just to knock it in. I just thought, I mean, obviously no one went after him. I mean, they were just saying go, and maybe that triggered like, oh shit, maybe I should go down.
Could be.
You know what I mean?
Possibility. Yeah, that's a possibility. But
Kadarius Toney really showed up in this game. Didn't show up all year. Yep.
But Joe, I got one thing to say. You said something about the penalty that cost the game. If you guys go back to the second quarter, the same exact thing. The Chiefs went into an RPO. Juju was held up by Bradbury. Again, no call. Juju almost threw the helmet at the referee. No call. He slammed his helmet down. He punched the ground. I mean, he was flipping out. The refs are going to, and Jason Kelce put it on. The referees have a hard job. They're not going to see anything. That is just it. That did not cost the game. Jason Kelce said that they could have made mistakes. They had to make plays. They had to keep, and the Chiefs were a better team.
Yeah, and I think it was Jason that had mentioned that. My tune changed on that whole thing. At first, I'm like, how dare they make a call at the end of with a tied Super Bowl with a minute and a half left on a very marginal play. And I was livid. I said, you know what, that just ruined it for me. You don't call that. But as I've listened and watched a little bit more after that, I tend to agree with, what you just said there. It's a spot on call. It's a, spontaneous thing that you got to make a decision on. I guess what we didn't see, the defender himself admitted that he had a hold of the jersey, which we didn't see, I guess. And we
saw it later. I saw it very later.
Right. Yeah. When it's live, you can't see the whole action.
Right. So my tune changed on that. And even when I was angry about it, I said, look, I said the Chiefs did not win the Super Bowl because of that. I just felt like you don't make that call there. But again, after watching it and listening to people speak about it, I realized maybe it wasn't exactly the worst call. So
Well, and there were
but again,
there were a lot.
there was
Yeah.
so many other.
Jason.
I was just going to say that there were a lot of calls there were a lot of calls where the Chiefs could have easily been called for penalty flags as well. Like, for example, there was a clear as day face mask either on Karlaftis or I think it was Chris Jones, either in the second or the third quarter, but you can clearly see one of them grab Miles Sanders' face mask. I think it was Sanders. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, it's just clear as day, just yanking his face mask all the way around like the guy's a bobblehead doll. Did not get a flag thrown on him for that. There were several.
Yeah,
I think the Chiefs had a couple. Yeah, right, exactly. So there were a lot of penalties that weren't called against the Chiefs throughout this whole game. But by and large, I agree with you, Joe, and I agree with you, Pence. The refs find it convenient not to call holding at all through the entire game on the Chiefs or on the Eagles or anybody until finally, with that last minute and 5 seconds left to go, they decide, oops, let's just go ahead and throw holding here right now. And by the way, 2 weeks in a row where that exact same holding call penalty was tossed against the opposing team that played against the Chiefs. The same thing happened to the Bengals the prior week, if you remember. So,
I streamed that game. I said it right when it happened.
Yeah. And so, all four of us here will admit that being an NFL official, being any sports official is tough. It's not an easy job. But I'm just going to kind of phrase it this way. If this was a regular season game in week 2 or week 3, no way would those penalty flags have been thrown at that stage of the game.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
Exactly. Just when Jason Kelsey got on the podium, I hope that woke up Philly.
Yeah, well, Kelsey said it as it is, and he was right. There was nothing wrong in what he said.
Oh. Go ahead.
Was that on his podcast, or was that
that was post game? That was post game.
Oh, I didn't see any of that. Shut that off.
No, you're good. No, that was his post game. That was like
what did
a couple
he say?
Hours. That everything that the referee has a hard call. You got to call it right on. Everybody, the media was like, well, what about the penalty? What about the penalty? Wasn't that bogus? And he's like, it's going to be what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like,
I just want to know if the flag was thrown
it was
before the throw. When was the flag thrown? They've never shown that. If the flag was thrown before the ball was even out of the hand, then, that means that
quick. It was quick.
I didn't see that. All I did was after.
I remember that. I remember it was quick. I don't know the exact moment, but I know it was quick because Patrick Mahomes was like, "Yep, there it is."
Yep.
But I don't know if it was right after Patrick threw it or what. But I can't answer that. I just know it was quick because Patrick's like, "Yep, there it is. Thank you."
I did feel good for Skylar Moore. He lives up in New Kensington, PA. That's where he's from. So he caught that touchdown pass. Obviously, when you run the same play and it works on both sides with different receivers, that's a good play call right there. I mean, you run that. But I think both of them plays would have went for 100 yards if they would have ran it like that.
Yep.
I felt good for Juju too, even though he's an idiot.
He is an idiot, but I'm glad for Juju because he deserves a ring after the whole hardship of Pittsburgh and getting it so close. And I'm glad for Andy Reid too.
Juju cost the Steelers 2 playoff wins by fumbling the ball.
Yeah, I know, but Andy Reid he's one of the best strategy coaches out there, regardless who he coaches.
I just want to know how they figured this out in halftime. Like, who figured it out? Was it the defense? Was it the offense?
Well, Travis Kelce said that we got to put it all on the field. We got 30 minutes. Let's go. And I guess one little spark did it.
The offense, Eric Bieniemy and Andy Reid, more Bieniemy probably than Reid. Both those guys had a secret playbook of plays for situations just like that. So I'm going to say, Eric Bieniemy.
Keep going.
Evan, get it fixed.
Go. Sorry about that.
You good? You get it fixed? Are we good now? No,
Yeah,
no back.
I got
All right, cool. So you're talking about Eric Bieniemy. Would you stay in Kansas City if you were him?
Okay, that's a tough question to answer, and here's why. If I was Eric Bieniemy and I was presented with a head coaching offer, I would only go for the offer that absolutely suits me the most. And what I mean by that, Adam, is I would have to have control over the roster. I would have to make sure that my job was fairly secure, and I would have to make sure that ownership does very little to meddle with my game plan, my strategy for building a team. Personally, Eric Bieniemy has been passed over so many times, wrongfully, I might add, that if I were him, I would just stick it to the league and just stay as an offensive coordinator because
You have it
he should have been
made.
he should have been a head coach 3 or 4 years ago, and he continues to get passed over.
He hasn't made. He
Well,
hasn't
and that-
made where he's at.
Yeah, and that brings me to another point, and that is what I was getting to is that Andy Reid eventually will retire. And I do believe that maybe, just possibly, and I could be wrong about this and spitballing, but maybe Eric Bieniemy hasn't left yet because he wants to take over for Andy Reid, and maybe Andy has tapped him to be his handpicked successor.
Probably
Yeah, you
doing a
just
hell
said
of a job
everything.
there.
You just said
We'll
everything.
see
I
how
was
that
thinking.
goes down.
You know, if I'm Eric Bieniemy, I don't take a head coaching job unless it's the absolute dream job. You
Yep.
know, because of exactly what you guys just said. You know, he hasn't made where he is, and he's probably the heir apparent. You know, so which isn't too far ahead. It looks like. You know, so it looks like he's going to get his opportunity if he stays pretty soon. So
Yeah.
I unless it's the absolute perfect situation for him, there's no reason to leave.
I think Andy's going to take a couple days and he's going to retire next week. That's my prediction.
And then
Evan,
pull
what's
Tom Brady
going
and
on,
come
man?
back.
I give it one more year.
Okay.
Evan, how
No.
are you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Sorry I'm late, but just to jump in, I definitely feel like that's the go-to for Eric Bieniemy right now. He's going to wait out for Andy Reid. I think Andy Reid retires in 2 years.
2. Wow. Okay.
He's got what, 2 championships now?
Yeah.
I think if
Yep.
he goes for 4, I think he'll retire.
Evan, since you're on, and I don't know how long you're going to be on, what do you think of the Super Bowl?
Hell of a game until the final play. I disagree with that call. You didn't call. You let the receivers and corners on both sides go for it. We didn't have a holding penalty, if I'm correct. We didn't have a holding penalty all game, and then you decide to interject yourself on that call. I get it. If you see it, you're supposed to call it, but you don't call that game because that just pretty much gave away what was a great game and possibly took away from what the Eagles could have done with maybe a minute left, maybe a minute 12.
Yeah, it's about almost a minute and a half.
And maybe that, we see something historic or we see Hurts, fumble the ball.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right. Since you said Hurts, did Patrick Mahomes deserve the MVP?
No,
Either one.
I felt like it should have been the middle
Should have this
linebacker.
been one of the years where the other team that didn't win got the MVP. Jalen Hurts had 4 touchdowns, I believe.
Yep. And he passed for 305 yards in the game?
How many
I don't have
rushing
the
yards
stats
did
in
he
front
have?
of me, but I think
I know he tied the career. I know he tied
and
Terrell.
I think he
Terrell
finished with
Davis.
18 touchdowns on the year, most for
Yeah.
a quarterback ever.
Yep.
Yeah, he tied Terrell Davis for rushing yards in the Super Bowl. I know that, but I forget what
That's
the
hilarious.
stat. What the last stat was.
I don't have a problem with Mahomes getting the MVP. I mean, Hurts would have obviously got it if the Eagles win the game. And would I have had a problem if they gave it to him anyway? No. But I honestly don't have a problem with Mahomes getting it.
Evan?
I don't think this is the NBA, and I don't think you could get away with giving it to a losing team. But if we had to pick somebody that was on the winning side, I would have gave it to, I believe his first name is Nick Bolton, middle linebacker for the Chiefs. He was all over the place. I felt like he should have been the MVP. I feel like if he didn't pick up that fumble and score with it, I don't think the Chiefs make the comeback they made in the second half because I don't think it's close at the end of the first half.
Yeah, that fumble kind of changed the game a little bit. I didn't see much
But
of the
why
first
would you-
half. Like
but
I
what-
said,
But why
I
would
was
you?
in
But
and
why would
out.
you kick it? Is that momentum? That's for anybody. I don't care.
Say it
I
again?
just wanted to answer it. I don't care who answers. This is for everybody. But why would you kick it? The ball comes out of your hand, and Jalen Hurts kicks it like 20 yards.
Did he mean to?
I don't think that was intentional.
That's why I'm
Yeah.
asking. That's why I'm asking. I don't know if he meant it or. I was like, "What are you kicking it for?"
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
know
think
if the
that was
momentum-
intentional. I think that was more of a situation of him panicking and trying to pick up the ball more than anything. Because I don't think he made a mistake like that all year. So just to all of a sudden drop the ball, and then you like you said, kick it, and it just sometimes it just bounces the wrong way.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, I
I was
agree
like,
with that.
well,
I don't
okay,
think it was intentional.
Okay. I was just like, okay, you're kicking it.
Hmm.
I thought that
Jason-
Jalen Hurts. I thought Jalen
what's
Hurts
that,
should
Jay?
have gotten
What's
it.
that, Pence?
I thought Jalen Hurts should have had MVP, even though he lost. Stats is the thing. He outplayed Mahomes in the Super Bowl, but I believe Mahomes should have gotten it in the regular season. But in the Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts should have had it.
Any more thoughts on this one?
No, not really. I do have a different
Jason, you got
question
anything?
though. I don't know if you guys had already talked about it.
What's that?
Was anybody else surprised by the Philadelphia Eagles offense? And it seemed like they couldn't run the ball or move the ball unless it was Hurts running it.
Good question, Evan.
Right. Evan, I'm going to answer that by saying I'm actually not surprised. And the reason why is because it kind of just feels like to me that while Miles Sanders emerged as a really good tailback for the Eagles in certain stretches of the season, Jalen Hurts, it feels like to me, had always been kind of their primary run option anyway. He's the perfect prototypical dual threat quarterback / even running back, if you want to put it that way. But I'm not surprised. And quite frankly, I'd seen this from a lot of teams throughout the course of the season where they try to establish the run game. And then for whatever reason, one or two plays don't work. And then they just abandon it and shit can the whole thing. And then just go to a one-dimensional aerial attack. But given that they have Jalen Hurts there and the ability for him to not only throw the ball, but run the ball, I'm not too surprised that they abandoned the traditional running game in favor of getting Jalen some more fly sweeps out there and some more options in the I form there. It's not surprising to me at all.
I'm kind of surprised they didn't throw the ball every time deep. It seemed like that was really, really working for them.
And I kind of felt, Adam, and I might be wrong on this, so somebody correct me, but I kind of felt like they were really trying to do a lot to attack the middle of the Kansas City defense, because it seems to me like that's one of the weakest parts of Kansas City's defense is that middle part of the field. And even though they have some solid linebackers, from what I read and what I heard, they had the ability, or they had the unfortunate distinction of getting burned on a lot of quick plays by some fast players. So I don't know, guys, maybe you saw something different, but I just felt they were trying to attack the middle of the KC defense a lot.
Well, the only thing that surprised me is that, especially in the beginning of the game, Miles Sanders was not the featured back. Gainwell was getting the ball.
That's right. Yeah.
Which was fine with me. I mean, he won me a receiving prop during the game, but On a tip, somebody said to go with it, and I went, and he passed it. But it surprised me that he was getting the reps, most of the time. And I'm looking at the stats now, and it turns out they both carried 7 times. But early in the game, it was all Gainwell. I was surprised that Sanders wasn't getting more action early.
Yeah.
Why did they take away Gainwell? Didn't Gainwell score the first touchdown? Did they take that away from him? Was there a flag and I missed it?
No, he was at the 1 yard line.
No, he scored the first touchdown. It stood.
No, he didn't score any touchdowns, but I think that's.
Oh wait, that's right. He was short.
He fell short.
Yeah, he was at the 1 yard line. Yeah.
Yep.
His helmet was past the pylon, but the football wasn't.
Okay, so all I saw was Gainwell scored, and I left on delivery. And then by the time I got in the car and started it, they were kicking it off already. So I didn't see any of or hear any of that. And then all of a sudden, I heard Jalen Hurts had a running touchdown, and just threw me off.
Mm-hmm.
He was tackled short, but his helmet crossed the pylon, but the football was at the 1. Gotcha. And everybody was like, "It's a touchdown! It's a touchdown!" I'm like, "No, the football's not past the pylon."
Something not related to the play on the field, I will say for those of us that watched the game, Greg Olsen killed it as a color analyst. He got everything with pinpoint, precise explanation. He did not try to go over the top and butt kiss like Chris Collinsworth does. He did not try and over accentuate anything. He got the color analysis was just excellent by Greg Olsen. I hope Tom Brady takes a year off before he hops in that broadcast booth because Greg Olsen, guy did a bang-up job as a color analyst.
I completely agree with that. I mean, I watched them all year, obviously, but I've been hearing and reading so many great things about him the last couple of weeks that this was really the first week I paid attention. I was like, okay, everybody's raving about this guy. And, A+ during the Super Bowl. I completely agree with what you say there. He was spot on. Again, not over dramatic.
Jason, he is going to take the year
spot
off.
on in his analysis.
Thanks, Pence.
And I thought he was amazing as well.
Fox Sports already said that Tom Brady's not coming back until 2024.
Okay.
I absolutely agree with the Greg Olsen part. Sorry, Adam. Absolutely agree with it, but I really felt bad for him because as soon as the Super Bowl was over, it came out that he's going to go from like 10, 12 million to like 4 million so that they can afford Tom Brady.
Oh,
so
man.
You get all the way to the Super Bowl. You do a great job like that. Hopefully he can find a buyout or something like that, go to another station and really show his worth.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I hope so.
Right.
Jay, we talked about him backstage. The next topic would be your guy you were talking about earlier, 7th round pick,
Isaiah Pacheco. Yes, I got to tell you,
let's go.
Hey, you know what? Pacheco was either a 6th or 7th round draft pick, but
7th round, Jay. 7th round. You were right.
7th round. Thank you. 7th round pick out of Rutgers, I believe. And I was
bad respect.
Yeah, I've been impressed with Pacheco, not only in the Super Bowl, but throughout the duration of the season. I mean, he has legitimate speed. He has legitimate playmaking abilities. His lack of size does concern me because I'm not sure physically how much of a toll he'll be able to withstand as far as a lot of these big hits that these defensive players dish out nowadays. But
did you
again,
watch the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I did watch the Super Bowl, Pence. I saw what he was doing in between. I saw him get in between the tackles. Get in between the tackles. All right. What I'm trying to say, Pence, and by the way, Yarmir Yager looks better in a Kings jersey. What I'm trying to say is that I think I like Isaiah Pacheco better as more of kind of a scat back going to the outside than running in between the tackles. He's very elusive. He's very quick. I'm a fan of his right now. I love his potential, and I think, give him some more time to develop, and he'll be a star, hopefully.
Mm-hmm. He did get knocked around a few times in that game, though.
Yeah, but to his credit, though, Joe, I mean, he took the hits. He didn't try and over-embellish any injury. Once he got hit, he got back up and said, great, back on the huddle, let's do it again.
Exactly.
That's what I was going with.
So my question to that is, first let me say I'm a fan of Pacheco, but the question then becomes, after Kareem Hunt got in trouble and ended up being suspended, every running back they've had has had like one really good year. And then the next year, it's like they lose faith. You can look at Clyde Edwards-Helaire, you can look at McKinnon, and now you have Pacheco. Do you guys think that, one, do they move away from Clyde Edwards-Helaire? And do you think it's sustainable for Pacheco to do what he did this year next year?
Ooh, good question.
Yeah, I don't have an answer to that.
I don't think any of us have an answer to that. I think only two people have a great answer to that, and those are Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy, to be honest with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know what, Evan? I would hope that they don't shy away from Isaiah Pacheco. I would hope that the small sample size they got from him this year is enough for them to maybe develop just some particular plays and some packages just to utilize his speed and hence his ability to run in between the tackles as well. And yes, and look, Eric Bieniemy is that one offensive coordinator who likes to mix things up everywhere. He doesn't like to have one or two plays be the same thing constantly throughout the game. So I'm like you, Evan. I hope that they feature him more as a prominent running back and not just wane away from him and then go next man up with another draft pick or another free agent signing.
I have no answer to that because I have no idea.
I completely agree with you guys.
Yeah, I have no idea how to answer that, Evan. But I don't even know where he would go to start with.
Man, Evan's coming on with some serious questions tonight, guys. Get hot here.
I think
it's been a minute. I've just been able to write some stuff down, so
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, but I don't know where he would go in the first place.
Well, he's a Super Bowl champion, and everyone saw he can run the ball pretty good and get binged up, and I'm sure a lot of teams would want him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no.
It wouldn't care if you needed him or not. It's someone you would
I don't know.
Get.
I don't know if this is part of your notes, but Dallas Goedert made one hell of a catch.
Yes, he did.
Nobody's mentioning that on ESPN. They said it on the game, but after the game was over, it's like, okay, no one's talking about that catch. That catch was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a better catch. I think that was a better catch than the complete pass that Devontae Smith had.
Yeah.
Just my estimation.
I don't understand why they called that an incomplete pass.
They did completed it. Andy Reid challenged it and then hit stand. They completed it.
Yeah, that pass stood.
No, I'm talking about with Smith.
The previous one.
Or did they overturn that?
Devontae Smith, I think, did get overturned.
Yeah, it did.
But
I got to go read the NFL rule book after this one.
You're not the only one. Referees are probably looking at it too.
Yeah. And Goodell had the nerve to come out and say, oh, they did a great job this year. No, they didn't.
No, they didn't. Not even close.
Not even.
And I know you're not a Steelers fans, but Pickett had a couple roughing the passer. They didn't call it. Watson had a roughing the pass, and they didn't call it. Tom Brady had one. These officials were horrible all year.
That face mask y'all had against
you.
Yep.
So and then the other question I had before we move on,
here we go.
If y'all talked about this, was anybody surprised that the league leading sack numbers defense in the Eagles could not get any pass rush during the Super Bowl? Because the reason they brought the question to my mind is the way that the defense played against the Chiefs. It almost really validated everything that the Niners said.
I thought they were going to get one or two, but none. That's good pass rush.
I think they had 70 sacks all year.
70 or 75.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous. I think
if you want
85 Bears had what? I want to say 80, 85, maybe even
84,
even
85.
90. I'll put that in quotations.
Every one of their linemen. I mean, this was one of the few teams where every lineman had double-digit sacks, right? In the Eagles,
I think so. Yeah,
at least 3.
Yep.
Hargrave did.
Yeah, I think Fletcher Cox had 11 or 12 from the interior there.
Isn't he like 30? Won't he be like 33 next year? That's
Yep.
ridiculous, man.
And he's going to be an unrestricted free agent too, I might add.
This year or next year?
Come on.
No, this year.
Down. Yeah.
So
I
wait,
mean, that was my
They have
that was
11.
my
They have
number
like.
4
They have like.
question.
They have like. Go ahead.
The Chiefs ran for
Yep.
on 26 times for 158 yards and a touchdown on this defense.
that's crazy. So you're
Yeah.
telling me
Yeah.
this year they have to deal with Javon Hargrave and the other gentleman you just named, and then next year they have to deal with Josh Sweat
Mm-hmm.
and the other edge guy they got, the one that hurt Brock Purdy. I can't think of his
Ooh, I
name right
like
now.
that.
So I wonder what they're gonna do with that top 10 pick, but that's for another conversation.
Yeah,
Does
I
anyone
like that
think the
comment.
Chiefs offensive line really stepped up their game because of the ankle?
Ooh, I like that comment. Check this guy out. The Eagles were overhyped team, and they got exposed of who they truly are.
Well, if the Chiefs didn't allow any sacks at him, I think the logical answer would be yes. I mean, I don't know.
Is Vic a 49ers fan?
No, he's a Steelers fan. There's the real.
Melissa decided to
Here's
be
the
in the
real one.
comments tonight.
If I'm not mistaken,
I don't know.
aren't the Niners in the NFC East?
No, they're in the NFC West.
No,
They're
they're in the
NFC
West.
West.
My
They're in
bad.
the West.
Yeah,
Good
they're
thing
with the
Melissa
got my-
is
Seahawks.
I
and
got-
Rams.
tearing you apart right now.
Got my map flipped around, y'all.
No, you're good. You got the You got the Cowgirls and the Giants and somebody else.
Hey,
Ray-
Pence, you're going to love this.
Redskins. We got the Commanders.
That's
Okay.
it. That's the other team.
All right. I think Jay hit
Yeah,
the back button.
Here we go.
Sure
Here it
did.
comes. Welcome back.
hitting that back button on us, Jay.
I hit the wrong button. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the Niners are
That's
with
okay.
the Seahawks and the Seahawks and the Rams. So that's the NFC West.
Kadarius Toney. Any thoughts on this young guy? Had
Why
big
couldn't he
plays.
perform? Why couldn't he perform in that in New York?
That's what I'm asking. As the Giants are my second.
I can answer that.
All right, Evan. What do you think then?
Brian Daboll wasn't there yet, and then by the time he got there, he had already messed up with the upper management. So when Daboll got there, it was gonna be a lot for him to save him and to get him to buy in, because him coming in, he was supposed to be a weapon, and then he got lost in the shuffle with a bunch of guys who didn't prove it in New York, and Daniel Jones wasn't anything until this year, and even from what you saw of him this year, you're not going to really believe in him next year. There's a reason they didn't pick up his fifth-year option. I just think that
player.
Hey, Juju been the same player, and let me not get started on Juju. I'm gonna leave that part alone. But
Don't touch that. He was involved with TikTok. That's the only distraction.
it's more than that when it comes to Juju. But I think
Should we stick with Juju for a minute? Should we stick with Juju for a
the biggest thing
minute?
that you could say as far as it goes with Kadarius Toney is that Eric Bieniemy and Andy Reid learn how to use guys with their gifts versus what they want in an offense, and they form it around their talents. And I think that having that style to get him in open space, get him in places where he can get a quick screen, make a guy miss and go, really started to show his true talent.
Well, he made sure he took advantage of that one ball he caught. Obviously got in the end zone. Then he took that punt back to the 8, 9?
Yep.
Felt like it.
Yeah, he was a
Oh,
little.
no, they returned to
late
the
getting
5-yard
into
line. I'm sorry. Well, he's saying that was the biggest punt return in Super Bowl history.
Yeah, it was. which is weird because I always when I heard that I thought about it and realized everyone I thought of was a kickoff.
Evan, go ahead, finish.
No, I was just saying that I was surprised because I thought I'd always remember like Devin Hester and all these other guys, and I remembered those were kickoffs and not punts.
Pens, what were you saying?
If he played like that in New York and Daniel Jones knows how to freaking throw the football, oh my God, the Giants would be more deadly than they are.
Look,
so you believe in the Giants?
He pulled an Eli Manning. He didn't want to play there, so he acted.
I know. I'm just saying, if Daniel Jones knows how to throw the ball and Tooney played like he did in Kansas City, oh man, the Giants would be so deadly.
So, did anyone see this yet today? We're gonna go to Juju real quick.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I had a feeling once Juju's name got dropped, you was gonna bring this up.
Glad you finally got that off your chest. Good game, bro.
Wow.
Jay, you didn't see this yet?
No, this is the first time I'm seeing this.
I wish I could
you
scroll
was about
in.
to be out the league, and this is what, bro. You did nothing all year. You had a good game early in the playoffs, and you was the only guy open because nobody was worried about you until it was too late. And this what you say? Dog, if y'all had lost, you know you out the league, right? I got more respect for Melvin Gordon coming out and saying I didn't do anything and I got a chip than I do for Juju, man.
The stream's about to get interesting. Here we go.
Uh-oh. Is this who I think it is?
It is.
Lovely.
The one and only. The one, the only.
If she, there she is. Why, hello, Miss Melissa. How are you?
Yo!
We.
I really didn't want to talk about this damn game, and you know how to bring up freaking
You're wearing red.
Tony.
Look like a chief today.
I like red. I'm an Irish fan. Red is one of their colors. Just because I'm wearing red does not mean I'm a Chiefs fan. There's only one Chief I'm actually happy for, and that's Creed Humphrey, and that was like my draft crush of all draft crush. So, but
I thought you were happy.
so I heard questions about Kadarius Toney why he didn't work out. No, ew. No, thank you. I hate. Which is funny because I actually love the TO on the Dallas Star, but anybody else that like dances on somebody's star or like logo or something just like really irritates me for some reason.
Taylor deserved way more respect, and I don't believe no one fucking beat that dude's ass.
Yeah, right.
But anyway, you guys brought up Tony, and my dad's a diehard Giants fan, so I think it was like a multitude of issues. I think. He liked the New York atmosphere. He liked the idea of being like a rapper or like to take advantage of the New York media. But his skill set, it wasn't conducive to the turf that was at MetLife. And, you know, I mean, he didn't even get a single touchdown until he became a Chief. Like, it was just like a bad situation from the get-go. Like, they wanted Devontae Smith, and when the Cowboys and Eagles made that trade, they kind of like panicked and then picked Tony, and it never just worked out at all, even with Dable. So I'm not surprised that him and Jerick McKinnon and all these other douchebags who've been abusing the NFL all have freaking Super Bowl rings now, and they're all like talking like they're the greatest things in sliced bread. But whatever, they have rings, so.
I just think it's a simple formula. There's a big difference between Daniel Jones and Patrick Mahomes. That's it in a nutshell, in my opinion.
Yeah, Patrick knows how to play. Daniel knows how to just stand there.
Right.
Man, Pence, you're on a roll tonight, buddy.
Daniel Jones could be a elite quarterback. He has the Coach of the Year award. I mean, everything's in front of him, but he just cannot throw the ball.
Daniel Jones also gets sacked more than almost any quarterback alive since David Carr and Andrew Luck.
Oh, you mean David Carr from my Fresno State?
Yes.
Huh.
That's what I thought. Thank you.
See, the big symbol that stands out with Daniel Jones, in my opinion, is that Monday night game where he's running like this 80-yard
80 yards and he falls at the 20.
And he trips
Yep.
over the 20-yard line. That's, to me, that's Daniel Jones right there.
And that's what he's always going to be remembered as, and it's not.
Exactly.
And I mean, as soon as you say Daniel Jones,
Sanchez
maybe you're
is
in New
known
York,
as the butt fumble, and Daniel Jones is a stumbler.
Yeah, Pence just brought it up. Hey, if Mark Sanchez can be immortalized for the butt fumble, this is what Daniel Jones can be immortalized for, all right?
Exactly.
Give the guy some damn dignity here.
Yeah, that's the craziest thing here living in Jersey. They don't even talk about what game that was. They don't talk about it like being a huge AFC playoff game. They just talk about the butt fumble, and then they start cracking jokes.
And the funny
like
part
that.
about the funny part about Daniel Jones is he did a face plant.
So I have to ask Jason. I don't know if you guys covered this or not, but I've been dying to ask him. What do you think about your quarterback going into a little tiny shack in the dark and wanting to stay in the dark for 4 days?
I think it is so typical Aaron Rodgers.
Hello,
It is.
darkness, my old friend.
I know. I've come to talk to you again. Okay. Like, Melissa, it's funny you mentioned that because I shit you not. I have a mental picture of Aaron Rodgers completely secluded, no windows, growing fingernails and toenails about 20 feet, growing long hair and growing long pit hair, coming out saying, I want to go to the Raiders. I mean, well, first of all, again, I'm not surprised. This is what Aaron is. This is who Aaron is. This is part of why we as Packer fans love him, but it's also part of why we as Packer fans can't stand the guy because he likes to play games with the media. He likes to play games with the fans. And you know what? If he needs to go into a dark room for 4 days, smoke a shitload of pot just to figure out where he's going to go play football next or introspect or do anything else, let him do it. All I know is he's not going to be wearing a Packers jersey for much longer. So unlike some other Packers fans, I've become accustomed to the fact that I'll probably be rooting for Jordan Love next season and not Aaron Rodgers.
I have a question.
Thanks for bringing that up.
I just love that every year he says he's gonna make a decision right away, and then every year it's that same waiting game and the drama and the Pat McAfee of it all and drugs and other nonsense.
Actually, I have a better response for you, Melissa. My response to Aaron Rodgers right now is shit in one hand, wish in the other, and see which one fills first.
Jason, I got one thing to put my 2 cents on that one.
You see
at the golf tournament where they're like Raiders and
Yep.
Well, then he just bought that house. He just bought that house like right down the street from Devontae Adams.
Yep. And then, Melissa, you're going to love this. Some nut at the golf tournament shouted out, "Go to San Francisco!" And Aaron said, "I'm not going to San Fran."
It pissed off every single Niners fan because you can't call it San Fran. Right. But I thought it was funny that he dangled the Cowboys thing to further his cause of being an asshole and rile up all the fan bases. And then I think it was during Super Bowl week. Pat McAfee let it know that your former convict of a quarterback is now suing him for defamation because they talked about his alleged crimes at Mississippi.
He's showing Shannon Sharp and
there's
McAfee.
Teeing off now is Super Bowl champion
Well,
Aaron Rodgers. Any news for us? I'm not going to San Fran.
Didn't Favre go after them and he's going to sue them both?
Yep. He's going after both Shannon Sharp and Pat McAfee.
Well, first he said
I wonder if he's going to start going after all the podcasters that talked about it too.
Sue me if you want to, you fucking idiot. You shouldn't have did what you did.
Dude,
he hasn't done anything.
Brett, leave me alone. Okay. Go after Adam, not me.
I never talked about him. I never talked about him on my show. I've never talked about this subject.
I know, Adam. I'm messing with you.
Now my ex co-host talked about it one night on their show, but I wasn't there.
Okay.
It wasn't any of you guys.
So from what I heard, he sent 2 letters to Pat McAfee, and Pat McAfee thought Michael Cole or somebody from the WWE was pranking him, and he didn't believe it until like Dateline did a piece on it, and then he said, "Oh shit, this is real." And so the letters were asking him to publicly apologize and like completely humble himself, and to remove any video that ever mentioned Brett Favre in the past. Pat McAfee said, "We are not doing that. We always said the word allegedly before anything we said." So they're all going to court. So it is what it is. But your quarterbacks, man, they're just friggin' drama queens beyond belief.
Yes, they are. And you know what? I still have my Aaron Rodgers jersey. Boom.
All right. Let's get back to this game here. Actually, I'm going to get to another question. With Sky Moore scoring and Isaiah's great game too, was this one of the best rookie classes drafted in a while?
Good
I would
question.
say yes.
I say no.
For them, yes.
No.
All right, one at a time here, folks. One at a time. We'll start with Evan first.
I would
ahead,
say
Evan.
yes. You look
Go
at
ahead.
Trent McDuffie, Isaiah Pacheco, the receiver that you mentioned.
Skylar He's
I'm
close
starting
you,
to feel
Evan. He's
like
in
the
New
Chiefs are the
Kensington.
Warriors of the NFL. Like, we just let one guy go and we plug him in with somebody else. Let's just be honest. Travis Kelce was right. Nobody thought that they were going to get to the Super Bowl. And then they get to the Super Bowl with a bunch of guys that nobody wanted. They get there with MVS, with a rookie wide receiver,
What
a
a joke.
7th-round running back, a corner that was in and out of games the first 7 games of the year for them. And then they turn out and do this. To be honest, in my opinion, as far
I'm
as
talking about
classes
best
go,
draft class overall too, not just on the Chiefs. I'm talking Gardner, Wilson, Pickett.
I was actually about to transition to that.
Yeah.
I would say yes,
There we
because
go.
the Eagles, a lot of their guys turned up, and then the Jets, a lot of their rookies turned up. So I would say yes. There was a lot of success for the rookies this year, except for in Cleveland and in Pittsburgh. Excuse me.
You don't think Kenny Pickett was all right? I got you.
His hands are too small.
Right, I forgot. So we're Baker Mayfield's.
Hey, he's going to
Boy,
Baltimore
look at the
for all
time.
I've
I
heard
gotta
so
go,
far, so I
man.
really don't care. I'd love to kick his butt for 2 weeks a year.
I
look
saw
at the time,
saw
man. I
reports
gotta
of
get
Baker
going, man.
Mayfield possibly. Yeah, I think you sent that to me. Anyway, what do you guys think about that, real quick? Melissa
Now
or
that
Joe, go ahead.
Yeah,
Now that
I
you
don't know
clear-
about best
now that you
ever.
clear-
Maybe best in a while. It is a great class, but
I said
best
best in a
ever. I have to think about that one for a little while. But I'd say best in the last few years for sure.
Jason?
I agree with Joe on that one. I would have to sit back and ponder that for a little bit. I think definitely with one of the best within the last maybe 5 or 10 years, and especially with this year's class, I think
Brock
a
Purdy.
lot of the late round picks, that guys that went in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round really blossomed this year. So yeah, it's definitely shaping up to be one of the best.
Melissa?
Best for the Chiefs, maybe, but not for the entire league, and certainly not for this year. I mean, I
said
have
best
no
in a
respect for.
while. I didn't say best overall. I said best in a while.
I just the Jets draft class is just something that's so underrated. I don't think a lot of them get enough credit because Brees Hall got hurt. What was it? Right after the Packer
Week
game?
3, 4.
No, it was like around week 8, 9, something like that.
Was it
Jason,
that late?
when did the Jets beat up on you? It was right in London, right?
Yeah, the Jets kicked our ass week 4, I think it was.
And they
Played the
by
Steelers
week
week
3.
4.
No, that was later. I thought.
They played the Steelers
that's
week
right.
4.
Yeah, it might have been week.
That was
week.
Kenny Pickett's first official snap in the NFL.
Yeah, that's right.
Week
It
4.
might have been week 6 or 7. Then I don't know. I don't remember, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so it was about like mid-tierish.
Yeah, I think it was week 7 or 8.
Garrett Wilson had a
The
great
Jets got
year, and
bogus
that's with
touchdown.
4 different quarterbacks. He had Zach Wilson, Mike White, Joe Flacco, some dude I always forget the hell of the name of, and I don't know if there's a 5th guy.
You just had to say Joe Flacco.
He was one of their quarterbacks, Evan. I can't talk about it without mentioning I was one of his quarterbacks this year.
I know
I
Pep
hate
likes
the word
Joe
Zach
Flacco.
and Wilson together, but I had to say the name.
I think that's the only thing you and I agree on, Evan, is Flacco.
So, I think the Jets had a really great draft class. It's just, I think that there's 2 things. So I think for teams like the Niners or whatever, you get a draft class, you can't really tell if they're good or not because you have so many other players, you're not really using the rookies. And then the teams that normally use rookies are so bad that the rookies can't shine or really get used to the league because they're just treading water with trying to adjust with a whole bunch of other people who have no idea how to play anymore. And then you have the Chiefs, who are that rare team that have enough veterans and enough new players where they could just progress the way that they need to progress. So it looks different and it looks like they're the most successful, but I don't think that they actually are the most talented team of rookies. I just think they fell into the perfect situation. If that makes any sense to you guys. Or not.
I think we're all in shock.
What? Why? Just because I said the name Joe Flacco?
It's pretty much, that's when they all shut up. When you said Joe Flacco, everyone just went.
Yeah,
Right.
Evan and I.
Joe Flacco's a
Evan and
Keystone
I
Oak.
agree.
He grew up.
Because Evan and I agree. We
I
don't
never
like
met
him.
the guy, but he grew up near me, and when I lived in Brookline.
It's just not fair.
And that's it. Mentioning Joe Flacco just scared me off the podcast. No,
Thanks.
I'm just kidding. But I do have to head out. There's some busy
Joe,
stuff.
what were your final thoughts on the game, real quick, before you get out
So,
of here?
as I mentioned before, it was as a neutral observer, I wanted to be entertained. It was a high quality game. Both teams played well. Both teams had a chance to win. Both teams deserved to win. The right one did, I believe. But, like I said, a great way to end the season, I think.
How do people get you?
Joe Dell Sports on Twitter. I am happy to talk sports anytime. So
You're going away this weekend. You can't talk any sports.
I'm going away, yes. Going back to my favorite place in the world.
You're on hiatus.
I am.
But, we got baseball right around the bend, Joe. We'll be waiting for the Mets.
Yes, definitely.
Sure,
happy
you're
to
going to
talk
be
about
golfing
those.
this weekend,
I think
right?
they got a
You
great
golfing
shot.
this weekend?
What's that?
You golfing this weekend?
Maybe not on the weekend because I'm driving down to Florida, but next week I'll be golfing for sure.
All right, we'll talk.
Definitely.
All right, buddy. Have a good
Raiders, Joe.
No, I'll tell you, I'll be tearing up the golf course, but not in a good way. But
maybe you should contact Ryan if you're going to be near him.
I'm going to probably be a couple hours. If he told me where he is, I'm probably going to be about an hour and a half from there. But it would be interesting. I'll tell him how jealous I am that he's down there.
All right, Joe. Safe travels, man. We will definitely talk. Have a good one.
Thanks so much. And again, everybody, great talking football with you all year. And we'll talk to you soon.
All right, Joe. Take care.
Joe.
All right, you too.
See ya.
Bye.
How the hell is Travis Kelce open so much?
Good
Because
Andy Reid, baby.
Because he's like Richard Sherman. He pushes off a lot.
I gotta start pointing out names whenever I ask questions. I forgot. Everyone's jumping on it. I feel like a teacher right now. Jay, is this what you feel like all day long? Kids answering questions so fast.
I'm just saying, he can get into space. He knows how to run through the defense.
I mean, he caught all 6 balls for 81 yards.
Plus a touchdown.
And a touchdown, correct.
Number 16 in the Super Bowl. He's catching up the ladder.
Huh. Okay. Whatever.
What, you didn't believe me?
No, I have a friend who's actually watching us right now. And he says to me, Jason, you're full of shit. Okay. Back at you, buddy.
No, I thought you were talking about
I didn't.
Jason. I thought
I
you were
don't
talking
see
about
that
me
highlight.
telling
I don't-
Jason about Travis
Is he
Kelce.
watching it
moving
on
up
the
to
channel,
16.
Jay, or is he watching it on your Twitter?
No, he's watching it. Well, he's watching it on the channel.
Okay.
But don't
Oh,
worry.
so he texts you solo. Make sure whoever
Yep.
texts Jay, make sure you like and subscribe, huh?
Right. And this prick lives less than 20 miles from where I live. I'm going to have a stern word with him when I'm done here, like maybe tomorrow.
Gotcha.
It's all good. It's all fun. We're
I
good
thought
friends.
No, I thought you were talking about
That's what
me
it's
with
all
Travis
about, man. It's
Kelce
all
moving
about
to
good fun
16.
and good friends, you know?
Yeah. Nah, maybe he was talking about you, Pence. I better go back and check the text message again.
I don't know if he does. If it does, I'm flattered. I'm like, okay. I'm learning that people don't like what you say, so you gotta go with it.
All right. Hey,
Evan,
well,
I speak.
What are your thoughts on
I speak-
Kelsey in the
I-
Super Bowl?
I speak facts.
Yeah. He's been with Mahomes for what, 5 years now?
Something like that.
6, I think.
5 or
Yeah,
6
I think-
years.
Yeah, something like that. Just say 6.
That's the
I
only
think
reason I
that
can
their
give
first
him
year
out there.
together officially was 2018. And they got to the AFC Championship, lost to Brady, and then in 2019 they won the Super Bowl in their second year together fully.
Look, all I can say is that him and Patrick Mahomes, they must have shared each other's brains or something. I really can't give you anything other than that. I mean, to see what they do on a weekly basis is absolutely amazing because it's like you know what they're going to do. You can watch all the film you want to, and you just can't stop it.
Brady and Gronk. That's all it is. Brady and Gronk.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could do the same. You could do the same thing. You can look as much film as you can, but Brady's always going to find Gronkowski.
Travis did say Njoku was like one of the best, should be one of the best tight ends in the game on the height show that he does.
Over Gonzalez?
And like right now.
Okay, I thought you meant over Gonzalez. I'm like,
I don't know if you saw that episode.
No.
Oh,
I'm
that he
like,
loves David Njoku? Yeah. They got some kind of weird bromance going on ever since they did that tight end university thing. Ever since then, the only other tight end he talks about is Kittle or Njoku. So hopefully we see
And Gronk.
it soon.
They talk to
it'll
Gronk
happen
a
next
lot.
year.
They even called Gronk on the their podcast they do. I watch their highlights and stuff on their shorts. Any more thoughts on Mr. Kelsey? Jay, anything on him?
You know what? Not really, Adam. I mean, Travis. I mean, he is the second best tight end in pro football, but you know other than that, he's really, really, really good. What I want to know is what the hell did he say at the very end of the game? Like, what was he referencing, or who was he trying to diss with that thing that he said?
Which game?
This after the Super Bowl, he got out there and he shouted something. I don't know what it was, but it was kind of like, you know, we played them now, or I don't know. I could be wrong, but it sounded like he was trying to diss somebody who was talking trash against him or something.
I don't know. The only thing I know
I
is
think that was
he tried
at like ESPN and Fox Sports because he had went on to talk about how nobody gave them a shot this year. They were doubted, and the same reason Patrick Mahomes tweeted today, we were in a rebuild today and we still won the Super Bowl.
Got it. Okay.
So
I know he went
I
after
think they really took
Ohio
it some
Mayor.
kind of way.
Yeah, Kelsey is pretty much Kelsey's pretty much he's pretty, other than Patrick Mahomes, he is the Kansas City Chiefs offense. You take Kelsey out of that offense and they're nowhere near what they are with him in it. So he is to them what George Kittle is to the 49ers.
Everyone thought taking Hill out would have been their disaster too. That's funny.
I know, right?
It was just a piece in the puzzle. That's all it was.
The only thing I know, Jason, is they went after the Cincinnati mayor. That's the only thing I remember.
Okay. That's what I'm referencing. Pence, thanks for that.
Yeah, that was the AFC Championship game because he said something and then he said you guys shut up.
That's right. Okay, thanks. Yeah, you mentioned Tyreek Hill, Adam. The ironic thing about that is Hill, had a pretty damn good season in Miami. So it's not like he actually scuffled feet without Kansas City's offense.
I completely agree, Jay. I mean, Tyreek Hill was pretty damn good down there in Miami, even with the mixture of quarterbacks and everything going on there. I mean, we'll see what happens next year. But Tyreek Hill had a.
All right, guys, I need to head out here.
Yeah, I got to split too, Adam. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
before you guys go, can I ask one question?
Go ahead. Yeah. I just had a crappy day. I'm ready to go to sleep.
Does Travis Kelce, when he finishes his career, is he the greatest tight end ever?
No.
Nope.
No.
If he wins 2 more titles, yes.
No.
Well, Melissa,
you're never going to put him better than 85. I got you. You're never going to put him better than 85.
Actually, I was going to say maybe Antonio Gates or Tony Gonzalez. I don't even think he's on that level, but or Shannon Sharp. But that's just me. I wasn't even thinking about George Kittle, but whatever.
I think he has a chance to be. I mean, he's ready to pass Gronk in numbers, right? To be the leader.
I think so. I think it's another year or two.
And he has the second most touchdowns in postseason history. I think he's only behind Jerry Rice in that category.
I think he's got a real shot at being one of the best tight ends in the game.
That's what I'm saying. If he wins 2 more titles, 2 more years, maybe, but not now. If he steps down now, no way.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to step down. He's having too much fun.
Oh, I know that. I'm just saying if he retired today, then no. But if he plays another year or 2 and he puts the numbers up that he's been, yeah.
I mean, he had 4 touchdowns in one game under 25 yards this year.
Right.
Absolutely.
Doesn't make any sense.
Nope.
It makes absolute sense. All the other guys on that team are all shrimps, so they absolutely throw it to Kelce in the end zone.
So, Melissa, or Jay, Pens, how do people get a hold of you guys?
Pens, you go first.
Okay, I'm on Twitter at Pensman Sports. I'm on TikTok on Pensman Sports. I just wanted to say that congratulations to me. I appreciate everybody that subscribed to my channel. No, I bled and worked and sweat and streamed, but I finally got over the 1,000 mark today. So I'm so
congratulations, Pens.
Thank you. That is so. Yeah, I know. That's your opinion. Still respect you. Browns suck even worse, but that's
it's all love, buddy. It's all love.
I know. Browns will eventually get there when they finally figure out something. So.
And until then, they have that Super Bowl playoff win against the Steelers.
Yeah.
Don't jump in this too, Melissa.
Yeah, some Steeler fan brought up 85, and I wasn't even going there, so I had to take a shot at the Steelers.
It's all right. It's all good. It's all good.
You're jumping into
congratulations, Pens.
Thank you. But man, it is such a hard grind. Day in, day out, getting up, seeing those subscribers, man.
Hey, Jason, can I ask you a question real quick?
Before I leave, sure.
All right. Kelce Mahomes chemistry or Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams? Who has the better chemistry with their quarterback?
Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, any day of the week and twice on Sunday. End of conversation.
I
What?
hate your quarterback with a fiery
Yeah.
passion, but it's absolutely Rodgers and and Devontae Adams.
Hey, that's just my opinion as a Packers fan.
I'm an Irish fan who hates the Packers, and I even think it's the better combo.
Well, Melissa, opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one.
True, but it's also real. Like, I've never seen anyone just be like, without looking, without thinking, they were just like always on the same page. The only difference I think is that Devontae Adams is a receiver and Travis Kelce is like built like a freaking freight train.
Yep.
And he gets
And
away
he
with
runs
so
like
much
one.
pushing and shoving and snapping early on routes that he can manhandle defenses the way that Devontae Adams can't. So I think Travis Kelce has better numbers because Devontae Adams isn't built well enough to bully defenses the way that a Kelce or other big ass tight ends could like take advantage of a secondary.
Yeah. I'm not saying Kelce and Mahomes don't have that great chemistry. They obviously do. But I'm still going to go with Devontae and Aaron. Sorry, I'm not going to cross the thin red line there.
Besides,
Just
I don't
like-
think I've ever seen Devontae and
God.
Aaron have big drops in a big playoff game the way I saw Travis Kelce and Mahomes have in that Super Bowl loss to the Buccaneers. I mean, they
Yeah.
completely fell apart and choked in that game. I mean, the only times that it didn't work with Adams or when Adams was being like triple teamed and like there's no shot of him getting the ball and Aaron Rodgers just stupidly still threw it to Devontae Adams because he didn't want to look elsewhere.
Well, actually, let me
What?
say this. I'm going to actually go one step further. I'm going to say Bernie Kosar and Ozzie Newsome and had better chemistry. Bernie Kosar and Ozzie Newsome. Evan likes that.
I love it.
All right. And yes, I did throw out there Bernie Kosar, baby. Anyway, yeah, it is time for
So
me
I'm
to
over
jet,
here
unfortunately.
laughing because right now Matt and Josh are on a live stream right now, and they're in my yard. They're and they're using the same background we are.
Nice. Nice.
I was ready to pop out of here and go change it.
Nice.
Oh shit. Anyway. Jay, like I said, we're gonna get you Dodgers some break. We're gonna do a little roundtable with some other teams. I already did my team, but I'll be the host of it. I don't care.
Awesome. Sounds great. Looking forward to it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I don't know. Probably next week sometime. We're getting into baseball time. Obviously, it starts today.
Yep.
Or tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, I think it starts. Pitchers and catchers.
Yep.
I'm ready.
Yeah, I am too. Ready for another season.
Hey, one last thing, Jason.
You're never getting out of here, Jay.
I know,
Vegas
right?
Vegas or New York. Where do you think your wayward quarterback most likely ends up?
Vegas.
Jets.
Vegas. I don't want him to go to Vegas. I don't want him to go to Vegas. But if I'm the Jets, I seriously have to weigh: do I want 1 or 2 years of trouble, possibly with the media with Aaron Rodgers, or do I want to go out and take a flyer on Derek Carr and maybe get 4 to 5 solid years out of Derek Carr? Rodgers, Carr. I mean, Evan, you already have a problem with that.
It's not
Robert
that I have a problem. I would change the question. Do I want a chance at 1 or 2 Super Bowls, or just 4 solid seasons and out in the second round with Derek Carr?
Well, but see, the Jets, though, are at least 2, maybe 3 good years away from being a solid playoff contender. And so if Aaron Rodgers goes to the Jets, would he turn them into a playoff contender overnight? I'm not so sure about that. They have some good, young, talented players, Garrett Wilson being one of them. But, again, I think the Jets right now, with some of their other complementary pieces, are at least 2 or 3 good years away from being a playoff contender, legit at least.
See,
so you're only worried about the offensive side?
No. There's obviously the defensive side too, but Aaron Rodgers doesn't play defense; he plays offense. And well, he would have some good young skill players there in New York. I think it makes more sense for him to go to the Raiders at this stage in his career, and it makes more sense for the Raiders to get him at this point rather than the Jets, especially with the Jets being up in the air with Zach Wilson and what are they going to do there. So I don't know. It's anybody's guess. I don't want to see Derek go to the Raiders because I hate the Raiders more than anything on this godforsaken mud ball called Earth other than the San Francisco Giants. But you know, he may end up there. I may have to suck it up. And my daughter is now texting me. I got to get out of here to go pick her up, guys. I'm sorry.
Bye.
All right, man.
All right, Jay. Have a good one, man. Like I said, we'll talk next week, bud.
Absolutely. Adam, thanks so much. I look forward to it next week. Always a pleasure. Melissa, always a pleasure. Evan, always a pleasure as well. You guys take care and God bless.
Same to you, buddy.
So should we talk about how bad MVS is?
Okay, Evan, I just
You
have
said,
one
how bad
question.
was he?
He had one target, and he missed it.
Evan, I have one question real quick for you. Why do you think it
What's
would
up?
work with the Jets? The New York media would eat him alive, and Saleh is a no-nonsense coach. Like, I don't understand why you would think New York would fit Aaron Rodgers.
Because I don't believe in Josh McDaniels, and I think that Aaron Rodgers would bring out the best in the other guys. I think that the attention he would get from the media would flatter him. I think it wouldn't be as bad as it is because he's not being recognized for the things he does because he feels like it's only because he's in Green Bay and not in San Francisco, Miami, Tampa, or another big market that he's literally in the middle of nowhere. I just like the pieces that are around in Jersey than I do Las Vegas because you look at the last two head coaches they've had and the transitions they've made, and I think Josh McDaniels is too far up his own ass to work with Aaron Rodgers.
No, I get it. I mean, they have Nathaniel Hackett, his little buddy there now as the offensive coordinator and stuff. It's just, I was curious as like a objective fan why you thought Jets. So thank you for answering my question.
No problem.
And as for Valdez Scantlin, I think he got his one shot and he blew it, and they didn't really need him to step up further than that. Hasn't it really mostly been Juju or Scantlin that was either featured? It was one or the other. It wasn't both of them.
So if they were to keep one, who do you think they keep?
I think they keep Juju. But Scantlin would probably be cheaper.
True.
Because isn't Patrick Mahomes' big money like going to start kicking in this year? Like against the cap?
This is the last year of his team friendly because of the way that he signed it. Because I had the same question, but they were talking about it on Undisputed about how next year was going to be a super cap friendly number and that it was going to allow them to retain or go get somebody that they wanted.
Yeah. I think like Scantling is like a good like fifth or fourth option, but I don't think he's like a number one or a number two or a number three. I feel like he's kind of like what Brady had in what's his face, that guy that came out of like nowhere, the little tiny rookie that no one ever even heard of about until he became the Brady guy. I feel like Marcus Valdez-Scantling is just like one of those guys that's gonna be there, but he's never gonna be the guy that you're gonna depend on.
I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. I just have questions about what they're going to do with the receiving core because Mecole Hardman, Valdez-Scantling, and Juju all are free agents.
Free agents, yeah.
And I feel like Mecole Hardman is going to get some interest on the market. And I feel like they're going to draft somebody.
I feel like with Juju and the having the ring and winning a Super Bowl and the already big head that he has, I don't think he can come back on a 1 to 2 year friendly deal. So I feel like he wants that big contract, and I don't feel like there are very many teams that are that desperate that they'll give him that kind of long term and big time money kind of contract.
I agree with that. Do you think anybody picks him up?
I don't know how you would feel about this, but I think if anyone were going to roll the dice with him just because out of desperation, if anything, it'd probably be the Ravens, just because they don't have or seem to have anybody at running back or tight end aside from Mark Andrews or receiver, and it feels like that's kind of been very toxic for them. And I feel like if Lamar Jackson actually does move on, they need to get as many veteran players they can to try to help out whatever backup quarterback they try to pass off as a starter or whatever rookie they can bring in.
I agree with that. I know that the Ravens were in a bidding war with him last year before he signed with the Chiefs. And the year that he went back to Pittsburgh, it was between Pittsburgh, the Ravens, and the Chiefs. So I can definitely see it. I just don't understand how he doesn't know how to shut up yet, because dude, you talk all this junk and you're like one
Did you see
bad
it? Did you see
cluster
him
of
and
games
AJ
of
Brown
being
going
out the
back
league.
and forth together?
Oh, you didn't see the
Say it
tweet I
again?
shared?
He even sent like he even had like a Valentine's Day tweet at AJ Brown.
Oh yeah.
I mean this.
Come on, man.
Oh my god.
Dog, like you were almost out of the league.
That's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about.
Man.
TikTok boy.
Bro, like I
That's
just
exactly
don't get
what
it,
we
bro.
were talking about.
I just don't get it.
Like, you could have just shut up and been good, and then you do this. Makes no sense. So,
Jerick McKinnon had
what? I got a
one
conclusion.
touchdown in that game, and he's acting like he should be MVP of the Super Bowl.
Right.
That was a nice
I
catch
got
by
one
AJ Brown,
question
by the
before
way.
we continue this. Adam, what goes on with y'all receivers? It's like y'all draft a bunch of good receivers, they get hit by the Browns or the Cincinnati Bengals, and then it's like they lose their mind.
Well, they do. They hit him illegally, and that's why. Well, I mean, the Burkett hit. I don't get it, and no one wants to look at the fact that these receivers go on and win Super Bowls outside of Pittsburgh for the last 10 years. But I'm not having.
So I have a question for you, then,
I'm not
Adam.
having that conversation because you love the guy and I hate the way he coaches.
I wouldn't say I love him, but
Adam, I have a question for you.
I have a strong affection.
Right, and I've grown tired of his no talk, like same talk. It just, I don't know.
So you want Matt Canada to be your head coach next year?
I'll take anything right now.
You full of it.
Adam, I have a question.
What's up?
Do you think Pickens breaks your curse streak with receivers and he actually sticks around long term?
I think as long as Pickett's here, Pickens will stay.
Because I heard Deontay Johnson's already scrubbing all his social medias of Steelers stuff and demanding a trade, and he's like the next.
He paid
receiver that's already upset.
He got paid $18.25 million and didn't score a damn touchdown. Had 1 2-point conversion, and that's worth $18.5 million points.
Your quarterback's hands are the size of baby feet. He can't throw further than 25 yards, so I would want to be traded too. Man, did you hear that? Who was that? I think we got hacked.
That shit. No, but seriously, I mean,
gosh.
What? Ooh. Yeah,
I mean, in all seriousness, man,
Go ahead. I mean,
I think
Deontay Johnson
Big
just
Ben
watched
did you
Juju
guys worse than we
Smith-Schuster
really realized.
win a Super Bowl, and he's sitting at home for the playoffs for the third year in a row.
Do you have a fever? Have you been coughing, runny nose?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
No, I'm good. I'm just
You're
watching
telling
what's
me
going on.
you
I'm
haven't
looking at
been in contention
reality.
for a Super Bowl in 3 years, and you're upset? Y'all drafted Big Ben in like what, 2006?
Yeah, it's,
Four.
dude, that draft class finally retired. All of them
2004.
retired.
Even worse,
2004.
2004.
How many times did y'all miss the playoffs with Big Ben?
I don't know. Let me. Let's.
You're
research
not gonna
this.
win this, Adam, no matter what you say.
I don't think you. The
You
Steelers
sound like
and Pirates have
you
3
really
wins
sound like
in the
a
playoffs
Patriots fan who hates
combined.
Tom
Like
Brady.
the Steelers and playoffs. The Steelers and Pirates have the same amount of wins in the last decade in the playoffs.
That's more about the Pirates than it is the Steelers.
No, that's horrible for the Steelers. That's horrible. I know you come from a town where you make the playoffs and you're celebrating, ready to throw parades, because you got one freaking win out of 16 losses.
Dumb.
What else did they do? The Bud Light thing, right? They put Bud Light and beer in can or in
because they
machines.
wouldn't sell beer to anybody until we won dilly. Yeah, I understand that, but you're crying that you haven't made the playoffs in 3 years.
I'm crying.
It's okay for me to cry.
In the last decade.
I shouldn't even be a Browns fan. How the hell you go 16 and how you go 1-15 and then go, we're not going to be worse than last year, and go 16-0.
Me, 0-16.
Oh yeah, 0-16. You know what I meant. You know my what I want in my heart is coming out my mouth.
Right. So we
man.
We both have huge expectations for our team.
That's great. Everybody does.
And I'm tired of the mediocrity, dude. It's just horrible. Take this 9-8 guy off of us. Oh, 16 winning seasons. No, we have not had 16 winning seasons. Winning seasons is playing in February. That's a winning season. Right now, the Kansas City Chiefs had the winning season.
I'm just going to let it go, Melissa.
Now, I was going to ask you a completely different question because I wasn't even going to touch the Tomlin of it all. I was actually going to ask you where you think your Buckeyes boy ends up as a quarterback since he's coming out this year. Yeah.
I'm kind of conflicted on that because I'm not really a CJ Stroud fan. Like as far as watching college quarterbacks, I just feel like he's scared. As far as it goes, it's like reading coverages. You ever see somebody do something in life and you're like, oh, I see the potential, but it's like when they get out there to do what they do, it's like they hesitate. Yeah, I feel like that for CJ Stroud. I feel like he has the arm, he has the body size. I feel like he can make the right reads. It's just that the reads are late or he just doesn't trust it. And that concerns me because if he goes to Houston and doesn't last, he's out the league. If he goes,
I feel like he's the same, with just a different issue than Zach Wilson. I feel like he has all of the physical ability, but he just has that one mental hurdle that he just can't overcome. With Zach Wilson, it's a immaturity and wanting the big throws and not settling for what the game gives him. And I feel like CJ Stroud is like a Zach Wilson with the difference in that he can't handle when things aren't perfect. like a Jimmy Garoppolo.
Right. Absolutely.
Like they have the height, they have the star quality, they have the physical abilities or close to it, but they just have that one mental hiccup. Like Nick Mullins had like the big brain, but he didn't have the, I can take charge and actually make something happen on the field. Like it's a difference between capability and actual execution.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like nowadays you have to have at least a good mixture of both. And if you don't have the capability, you have to have the execution. And if you just have capability, you're going to flame out faster than Josh Rosen because it's just nobody wants to put up with that shit.
And I think this is the wrong year for him to come out for everything that you said, because the question then becomes, where does he go that has a guy that can help bring him to the next level? And as far as it goes with landing spots for places that need a quarterback,
Miami's the only one, but even then, I don't trust Mike McDaniel. Because as soon as things started falling apart with Tua, just everything fell apart for Miami. So, that was the one offensive mind that I thought maybe could get the most out of someone who was kind of discarded and discarded.
On that note, right there, do you feel the backup quarterback should now be getting reps with the first team offense during the week, just in case concussions happen now?
Yes.
But I mean, I agree with what she's saying, but at the same time, is he even gonna last that far?
I really don't know. I don't know if he would make it to Miami. I don't know if even Carolina would take a chance on him, because Carolina's just been such a revolving door between Sam Darnold and Baker and
I don't think Frank Wright's going to want Sam
PJ
Darnold,
Walker and everybody else. And Wright just got fired because of Carson Wentz and all that nonsense up there with Matt Ryan and all that other stuff. I feel like certain teams that are so quarterback desperate have been such a turnstile that if there's even a legitimate flag, I don't think that they would take a chance. I think they would give up more draft picks to trade for Justin Fields, who's kind of a proven commodity, than to take a chance on one of these rookie quarterbacks.
This is supposed to be a heavy rookie quarterback class.
Especially because everybody is pushing that rumor that the Bears are shopping both Fields and the number 1 overall pick.
So Evan, just to back to your question on Big Ben, he went 5-1 with Cowher at coach, and went 3-2, 8-9 with
8 winning seasons and 9 losing seasons.
No, I was talking about playoff wins.
So it takes 4 to get to the Super Bowl, right?
Correct. Mm-hmm. But he only had Cowher.
And he got 8.
And went 5-1.
And I mean, he got 8, right?
He got wins with Tomlin? 3-2, 3-2, and 5-3 is 8.
So that means y'all at least got to the Super Bowl twice.
Right. But then we have 1, 2, 3. Then we have all these losses too.
But you got to the Super Bowl twice.
And we
they
won
twice.
So you won even better. Thank you. You won 2 Super Bowls.
Didn't you get to 3? Wait, didn't you get to 3 with Ben? I thought he won 2 and he lost 1 to the
one of
Packers.
Those was with.
Yeah, he
one
lost
of those
to the Packers.
was with Cowher, wasn't it?
He lost to the Packers with Tomlin. He went 5-1 with Cowher in 2 years. That's all Cowher had with him. Tomlin took over in 7. And 3-2, 8-9. Because Tomlin's 8-9 in playoffs. He's under 500.
Okay, but weren't a lot of those matchups, correct me if I'm wrong, either wildcard weekend or divisional round weekend, Steelers versus Ravens? where one of you would knock the other one out. And that was during the heyday of the Patriots always being the AFC Championship and always almost winning it.
It was now I have to.
Plus, you had Peyton Manning, one of the greatest quarterbacks,
then we
also
lost
in the playoffs.
Yeah, but then we lost to Tim Tebow in overtime on a Demetrius Thomas 80-yard catch.
Oh,
Man, that you can't blame him for that. That type of stuff happened. On top of the fact, weren't y'all in Denver? Ryan Clark wasn't even there.
Well, Ryan Clark wasn't allowed to play because he had anemia.
Right.
Or sickle cell, one of the two.
Right.
Might be the same thing. I'm not sure.
As crazy as this is going to sound, he was one of the biggest pieces to allow Troy Polamalu to do what he did.
Oh, I'm not saying Ryan Clark wasn't the key to everything.
Right. So now you're about to sit here and say that it's Tomlin's fault that Tim Tebow prayed to God, competed a pass to DT, and let him take it to the yard?
Regardless, we still lost.
Dog, you got 2 Super Bowls. There are still franchises that don't have any.
I'm sorry.
I really thought the Cowboys fans were like the worst fans until I heard the Steeler fans.
It's crazy. Oh, that's the one place I hate to go pick up
Yeah,
an
but
extra game.
only
like
one of
during
them
the
was
season
Tomlin.
to do.
The other one was Cowher.
Who was a former Cleveland Brown.
Tony Dungy won one too.
Huh?
Tony Dungy was a former Brown too, right? Or is he just an Eagle?
I thought he was with the Jets.
I thought he played for the Browns.
Dungy was a Jet, Buccaneer, and Colts coach.
Yeah, he won it with the Colts, right? He beat.
He beat Lovie Smith,
Lewis, right? Or no, Lovie Smith.
Yeah, he beat Lovie Smith.
The historic first ever black versus black head coach Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was
And
a
at
good
the
game.
Super Bowl that Devin Hester took it back on the first kick.
I don't know
think
if
so,
that was
yeah.
I don't know if that was the 06. It could have been the 06 Super Bowl.
Anyway,
I believe that was what? Rex Grossman versus Peyton Manning?
Yeah.
I think that was, yes.
I feel bad for Rex.
My sister.
I haven't seen preseason games worse than what Rex was doing that year, and you got all the way to the Super Bowl? Come
that
on,
defense was sick. That defense carried that offense.
Bro, that Brian Urlacher, Lance Briggs, Peanut Tillman, and to the rest of the gang, I salute y'all. Because even Ray Lewis in Baltimore didn't do that.
No.
Like, that's crazy. I could have thrown at least 2 touchdown passes that game. I mean, anyway.
Where do you guys rank? Where do you guys rank this Super Bowl?
All time or just
All
like
time.
in the last decade?
All time.
Top 10?
I mean, we only got 58 games to choose from, and some of them probably aren't even on video yet.
I would say top 10.
I was going top 10 myself. I thought it was a pretty good game. Melissa, thoughts?
It lived up to the hype. It was competitive all game. The refs. I already went on my rant about the refs. I'm gonna leave that alone.
Okay.
But it was just competitive all the way around. Like every time you thought that the game was over one way or another, something else happened to bring the game close again. I remember putting it in our Twitter group chat and was like, that's got to be the game. Not even 2 minutes later, I'm texting back in the group chat. I guess not. And then from there on out, it's competitive the rest of the game. Really had me on the edge of my seat. I think I think all the stories that led up to it delivered, and all the stories that came out of it are even better. Like the Travis Kelce draft story. Um, Jalen Hurts, did he kill all the naysayers with how he played in the Super Bowl? Um, it's just for me, it lived up.
Do you want a real answer or do you want a nice answer?
Whatever. I like the truth. I don't like people jumping
Okay.
behind my.
You can't handle the truth.
Oh, I can handle it.
I put it around maybe the 20th best Super Bowl. Maybe. But I didn't really like this Super Bowl. Like, it's not because one team beat me in the Super Bowl and one team beat me in the NFC Championship. I could not get into the Super Bowl. Like, I could not get into this whole
Super Bowl vibe.
Fly Eagles Fly nonsense that took over the entire stadium. I couldn't get into the whole Rocky theme being played after the first touchdown. I couldn't get into the whole MVP chants every time Jalen Hurts did anything correctly, and then like everyone shut up the second that he had that fumble that was returned back for a defensive touchdown. It's just like Patrick Mahomes with his constant whining about his ankle and getting stepped on twice and all the stupid holding bullshit, and it's just there's so much drama, and
no one even mentioned that part.
Like
Mahomes getting hurt.
It was 2 minutes ago. It was so ridiculous. It was just like beyond torture to watch that entire Super Bowl.
Did you at least like the halftime show?
No. I felt like it was like, you know what I felt like? I felt like Rihanna was coming back, so you got like really excited, right? And you know that she can perform. And then it felt like the Black Eyed Peas or Justin Timberlake, where it was so auto-tuned and it was so not even sing one full song. It's so rushed and so much dancers and other nonsense that was forced around it. Like you didn't even get to appreciate that she was there to perform live. Like I was so disappointed. That was mostly about the dancers and the costumes and everything else and skipping from one song to the other. And I love that they always say that they can't leave artists alone because they have to have multiple artists, because no one artist should do the Super Bowl halftime alone. And yet Rihanna got the chance and she just, I felt like completely threw it away. And then like someone like Bruno Mars, who absolutely killed it during the Super Bowl halftime show, how to be forced to have an entire other act because they didn't trust him. And it's just it baffles me the way that the committee chooses which artists don't get another artist thrown on top of their opportunity. Mm-hmm. And then when they do, they blow it up so much. It's really frustrating for me.
So last year, do you feel they needed Slim, Dre, Snoop, and then
I felt like that was more about. I felt that was more about Dr. Dre trying to get away from his like marital issues and all the other legality issues that came up. So he was having his entire crew there, and it was LA, and they always do things bigger in LA. So like that was like the exception. But I felt like it was like, you know, Katy Perry had to be forced Missy Elliott. Bruno Mars had to be forced Red Hot Chili Peppers. They forced Shakira and Jennifer Lopez in Miami. Like, it couldn't be one or the other. It's just like, it feels like every year there's something that's always like you can get the halftime show, but there's a catch. And she was given these huge opportunity not to have to pay for it like The Weeknd had to pay for it out of his own money. And she just, I don't know, it felt like she half-assed it. And it felt like it was really weird that out of all her songs and all her like careers, she started off with "Bitch Better Have My Money" as her like absolute first song. Like, what the hell was that? It was just weird.
So I got two questions to that. Do you think that her performance was pre-recorded in the sense of audio, like they do the national anthem? And then secondly, do you think her performance, as for the lackluster that you felt it was, did it have anything to do with the lack of mobility due to her being pregnant with her second child?
See, I didn't mind that she didn't do all the big dance moves or anything. I felt like it was like, for 7 years, I felt like they've been courting her and asking her to do it, and she kept saying no all the time. I feel like now she just said yes because she's in a lull in her career, because she's been raising a family and having a family, and I got so hyped for a single female artist to have the Super Bowl by herself, and then that's what I get.
I can understand that.
I'm not hating on Rihanna. I'm not saying that she shouldn't have done it. I'm not saying that she doesn't have the right to have a family. I'm saying, like, this is such a huge opportunity for a female artist to have, and I feel like she absolutely squandered it away.
Do you feel they're forced to bring in all these dancers and stuff instead of just singing their songs? Like, I know they want to act like they're on a full concert tour doing it. Should they just come on, sing, do their own dancing, and let the crowd enjoy it more?
I actually think it's both. I think that the artist wants to go over the top because it's such a huge stage and so many people are watching. And I also think it's the SB,
110 million
it's the Super Bowl committee who also gets involved. I mean, they had to have like 15 different jobs for J-Lo and Shakira, and they had to have everything approved and worked out and signed off on, and it's just weird. It's a really weird thing.
Evan, any thoughts?
Yeah. I actually liked the halftime show. I was happy that she got to do it by herself, but I do agree certain songs I would have did either in different orders or I just wouldn't have played it all. Like, there were some things, like, I think the committee probably did limit her songs to what they knew versus what was her biggest successors as far as her career went, because I feel like she really could have tore the house down with a couple of different tracks.
I mean, I like that it ended with Diamond.
I don't know what you did, but you sound real muffled.
Oh, sorry. I had to plug the phone in.
I thought you were like listening to us on YouTube and hit like I thought that's what we were listening to on real low.
No.
Go ahead. What you were saying?
I felt like Diamonds was like the only song that I really liked, and it was just such a short part of it at the very end.
And the whole
so they can have that big aerial shot. It's just, I don't know. I don't want to sound like a hater, but it was just really, really disappointing for me.
Well, I mean, wasn't Diamonds is like her major hit, right?
It's one of them.
I don't know much about Rihanna. I've listened to her in the Eminem tracks and the diss, obviously with MGK. I'm not saying I don't like her. I don't have any beef with her. I just don't listen to her.
It's okay, man. So you have Diamond, Rude Boy, Umbrella, All of the Lights, even though that was a feature.
Umbrella, Ella.
Yeah, so like
I know them if they come on the radio.
The list could really go on. I don't have the entire catalog in front of me, but like she really has it. And then on top of that, I know people really are not going to agree with what I'm about to say, but she could have played something from her new album that she hasn't released yet, and really blew the house down. So I really think like Melissa was getting that. I think it was more about the committee than it was her.
You're muffled again.
But I do have a different question for the two of you. Do you think Mahomes faked his injury as far as the Super Bowl went?
I think he wanted like that reaction where he like
Melissa, you're muffled again. Is your phone gonna die? Is that why you're
Mm.
plugging it in?
No, I turned the volume up. Can you hear me now?
No, you're
You
muffled
did it
again.
again.
You're gonna have to. You're gonna
Okay,
have to go
but
back.
now
Yeah, that's good.
I'm taking my headphones out.
Taking the headphones out.
I don't know. I felt like the first time it was like legitimately hurt. I think he oversold it on the sideline. And the second time, I think it was just for more dramatic effect.
That's how
The
I
injury.
felt because, dog, the way you pulled it out the last 2 games of the season, you hurt your ankle the exact same way 3 times, and you running and diving and doing all this stuff, man. Unless they gave him a different type of morphine or Toradol or whatever they give these guys nowadays.
That's what I was just gonna say. What medicine did they give this man?
Because for the way he sold it to what you ended up seeing, I kind of question it. And I'm not saying this to like go at his credibility or to go at his character or anything like that. I'm just trying to stir the pot a little bit just for the sake of show. But it definitely made me question like what's going on here.
Now, if they come out after all this and say, "Hey, he has the high ankle sprain," maybe what if they come out and say like he needs surgery on it or something after all this?
Okay, you know what it felt like? No joke. It felt like a couple years ago when Tom Brady won the Super Bowl, and they made such a big deal about him playing the entire year on that MCL injury.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they're so desperate to make Mahomes the new GOAT and to completely have him be the new Brady that they like overforced the stupid storyline about his high ankle sprain and how severe it was. And I'm sorry, like I know you go full out for a Super Bowl if you're anyone but Cam Newton, but like how the hell was he running so much on that ankle before either of those new injuries in the Super Bowl? And he isn't like just like scrambling for like 5 yards. He was like going for like 10 yards and running for first downs. Like if he's that injured and he's that critical to your team, and it was so late in the game, like there's just something weird and funky going on about that injury.
I absolutely agree. What do you think, Adam?
I think it's really hurt, but these guys can withstand way more pain than probably the 3 of us combined. Right? So we have no idea how much pain they were on.
I'm not saying there wasn't an injury. I'm not even saying it didn't get re-injured in the game. I'm just saying the way that they sold it and the way they handled it, there's just something fishy about it.
I agree with that. I think they kind of tried to play the narrative. But then again, I also had the same question with Jalen Hurts until he threw that pass at the end of the game to try and get it downfield and didn't make it past 20 yards.
But they also loved that storyline going into the Super Bowl. They loved the Kelsey line. They liked the 2 injured quarterbacks line. They liked having the whole who's going to be hurt by that the most. Like it was a huge storyline all week long.
Mm-hmm.
Well, 2 days ago they said that ankle is going to be fine for 2023.
So
I just looked it up.
Oh man.
Evan, are we going to close this out with the new video you just released?
Evan,
Oh yeah, because it's a coming soon video. Yeah, actually, yeah, we definitely can do that. So, you want me to bring it out, or you want to bring it? I mean, you can press play and everything, but you want me to introduce it and everything?
I think it's already on there, ain't it?
Yeah, it should be in the sports talking folder.
Sports talking off season, right?
Yes.
Melissa, any more thoughts? Any more plans? Do you have any conversations lined up this week?
No.
Nothing. All right. All
And
right.
I try to avoid the NFL this week because Super Bowl took like years off my life.
Evan, you got anything lined up, buddy?
Yeah, I'm doing some notes and I'm rewatching the Senior Bowl because I kind of want to have see if I can collab with some of the guys in the group, maybe even you, to talk about some draft picks. Even though I'll be talking about a second rounder to see if anybody
Jets guy
can fall.
was at the Senior Bowl. One of the Jets guys that I had on the show last week was at the Senior Bowl.
Oh yeah, I'd love to talk to him. I got some questions.
Okay, I'll reach out. I'll reach out to him. When were you looking to do it?
The 18th is this Saturday, right?
Right.
So I would think like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, if possible. But if I gotta make it flexible for him, I can.
I'll reach out to him for you.
All right, that works.
All right. Melissa, you're allowed to do a show whenever you want. You're good to go.
All right.
I have.
Evan, thank you again for being there last time and offering to help out.
So we gotta be supportive of everyone. You'll hear my voice again Friday morning. A fan kind of reached out to me and said, "Hey, let's do a show on the Steelers." And I said, "Okay, I'll give you your voice." So I'm doing Steelers again on Friday morning with a fan. So this is gonna be a little different than what we did last time. But I'm all about putting people on the show, and that's what we do, right?
Right. It's all about taking that chance.
Right. So, but hey, everyone, this is Evan's off-season video, and this is what we're going to. Everybody, thanks for stopping by. Comments, thanks, like, subscribe, and hit that notification button, and we are out.